What's going on? I'm Scott with Koenig, and today we bring you an exciting change of departure from what we usually do with these FAQs. That's right, it's an FAQ. This is the place where you ask us questions and we answer them. Well, today we're going to be answering questions about truck tires as it relates to kind of putting them into a wheel. We get a lot of questions, and with the development and release of the Hyper Trail series wheels, the HT1 and the HT2, we have started to get more and more truck questions relating to the tire size that they're putting them on. So we're going to field a few questions as we kind of have. And we also had the opportunity to sit down with Chuck Converse from Milestar Tire.
I'm Chuck Converse. I'm from Milestar Tires. I've been off-roading for most of my life, and I've been working in the industry for many years since I've been out in the military.
He's going to actually give us a lot more of the tire-oriented questions that we often tell you that we don't really want to answer because it's not our lane. So today, Chuck's going to come on, help us with some of these questions. So let's get into it now. All right, so let's get into the first question. One of the first questions we get asked a lot has to do with lift kits and tires. The question actually comes in, I want to run 37-inch tires on my JK, but I'm not sure how large of a lift I need to be able to do so. What tire size do I need and what lift kit should I run? Now, when it comes down to choosing this tire size that you need for your wheel, and when it comes down to choosing the correct lift for that tire size, we actually are gonna look to the lift company to give you that answer. And that's because there's one thing that you'll need on the wheel side, and then there's another thing that you'll need on the tire size. When it comes to the wheel, you just need to know from the lift kit company roughly what the minimum back spacing requirement is. And we list those back spaces available on all of our truck or off-road oriented wheels. You take that minimum back spacing requirement and you know that the wheel should clear. Now, the one thing that the suspension companies and the lift kit companies tend to do better than anybody else is they will list exactly what size tires they're looking at that minimum back spacing requirement. So that's how you pair a wheel and a tire size, and you look toward that suspension company for the answer. Now, they will tell you roughly to be able to run this size tire, you will need a wheel with a minimum back spacing requirement of X, and this is the tire size you will run with this lift kit to be able to properly clear. All right, so here's a question we get once in a while that has to do with tire size related to the wheels. The question that comes in is about overall rolling diameter, right? Do I have to maintain proper overall rolling diameter? I want to be able to put a taller tire, but I keep hearing that I'm supposed to keep the same overall tire height. The answer is you always want to run what came is from an overall rolling diameter. You always want to run what came from the factory. Now, in an enthusiast situation where you're going to be able to lift the vehicle, you're looking to go with a taller tire, maybe you have different intended use for your vehicle on the weekends, then you're gonna make these provisions. And there are some scanners and tuners that are able to calibrate or recalibrate your vehicle gauge cluster to be able to calculate exactly how fast you're going and be able to correct that. This is really important that you speak to somebody that's not only an off-road kind of enthusiast, but also a wheel and tire professional, because the people that really are into the enthusiast movement and really know about these trucks, they're going to be able to help you navigate this situation really well before you get to a point of spending your money. All right, so I gave you a feedback on a few questions that we have here. Let's turn it now to Chuck from Milestar, and he's going to give you some other questions that we get quite a bit. So I go off-roading on the weekends, but my truck's my daily. How aggressive can I actually go on a tire?
So that's a personal preference. It also up to you what you want to put up with and how you want your fuel economy to be. It also depends on budget and tire size and what's available. It's all up to personal preference. You can daily on anything you want, but you have to deal with it at the end result. I'm sure I should be selling tires at this point, but like I literally dailied on Super Swamp. When I was in the military, I lived on base. I could see where I went every day, but I used full on bias ply super swampers as a daily. Flat spots on the way to every Monday, all the way to work. Yeah.
So when it comes down to truck tires, what exactly are the ply ratings?
As you go up in ply ratings, your sidewall is going to get stiffer. With off-roading, we air down, knowing that you're gonna have to air down probably a little bit farther to get the same handling you would get out of a lower load rating on the side of the tire. That's where it's gonna come into play. Also, just a stiffer sidewall in general. So just knowing that that's gonna happen and really affect your traction and your handling off-road.
So being on the wheel side of things, we obviously know that tire size has an incredible impact in the ride comfort and the handling of your vehicle. Does that still apply when it comes down to trucks, especially ones that maybe are going to be a little bit more dedicated towards use off-road?
So as you go up in tire size, you go up in weight. That weight affects handling and fuel economy. Weight being rolling mass, your steering takes adverse effects from the weight. Your suspension has to work harder because of the weight, and your rolling mass being a heavier tire is going to slow down your fuel economy.
So Chuck, when does too much tire actually become too much tire?
Too much tire becomes too much tire when it starts adversely handling, starts affecting your road characteristics, or starts affecting the maintenance of your vehicle. Turning, rubbing, all of the things happen. You hit a bump and it starts to rub. Too much tire. Need to go smaller. So thank you guys again for having me on here to talk about truck tires. Once again, I'm Chuck Converse. You can find me at any Milestar Tires. We have several things going on. And if you'd like to find out anything about me personally, it's chuck.converse.
So thanks for watching another episode of FAQ. This one was a little bit different because we have a guest. But hey, look, Chuck was able to give us some good answers, and it comes from a tire professional, so you can take that stuff to the bank. Thanks for hanging out with us on this one, and we will catch you on the next one.